I want them to focus on the cities, because the cities are where you really have what's called sanctuary cities. They emptied their jails out into the U.S. Most of those people are in the cities, all blue cities, all Democrat-run cities, and they think they're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen.
So that was President Trump earlier directing his administration to expand detain and deport efforts in big cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. Here's L.A. Mayor Karen Bass.
The disruption and the fear that has been caused by the raids has really had a devastating effect and has been a body blow to our economy. I don't think the president understands that we have entire sectors of our economy that cannot function without immigrant labor.
So in recent days, the president addressing reports involving a bit of a shift in focus regarding these immigration raids when it comes to farms and hotel workers, he pointed out as well. Watch this.
Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers. And leisure, too, hotels. We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
Okay, interesting. Let's bring in Tricia McLaughlin, DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs. Tricia, welcome back. Good to see you. So I thought this was interesting when the president said this, and he was sympathetic to these farmers and also people who run hotels. You heard him point out there, who he talked about have had employees who in some cases have been with them 20, 25 years, and he said, that's a difficult situation, and that's not necessarily who they want to focus on. Can you talk to us about this sort of evolving policy and effort here?
Absolutely, Martha, and thank you for having me. Yeah, there's not been a change in posture. We can continue to enforce the law. Our worksite enforcement operations are really tip of the spear to getting these criminal illegal aliens out of our country. There is no safe harbor if you are in this country illegally, and our message remains, if you're here illegally, you should self-deport now. The U.S. taxpayer is so generously offering—
But hold on a second, Tricia, because I just want to go back. He says we can't take farmers and all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have. He's talking about their documentation. So how is that not, a bit of a shift? He's saying he wants to focus on the cities, but that certain areas, farms and hotels, he doesn't necessarily want to focus. It sounds like he thinks it's okay if some of them have been there for a long time and their employers have a good relationship with them.
Martha, I don't know if you and viewers saw the president's Truth Social last night, where he doubled down and clarified that we will not be deterred by these violent rioters, and we will continue to carry out the mandate that the American people gave the president in the last election. The mandate from the American people is there will be mass arrests, there will be mass deportations, and we will remove violent criminal aliens from this country. Just in the last 72 hours in LA itself, we've arrested drug traffickers, we've arrested known gang members, we've arrested convicted murderers. These are the worst.
No, it's clear that is the focus, that he wants to, he's talked about the cities, he's talked about, and we all saw people getting off airplanes and getting off buses and all of that. And it's clear that is continuing, but it sounds like the focus is shifting a little bit to keep the heat on these urban cities. He said blue sanctuary cities, but maybe take it off farmers and hotels a little bit, correct?
We will continue to enforce the law and continue to have worksite enforcement, Martha. That's not a question. Those are not on pause. We will continue to go. The president also really praised ICE last night and said he will give them all of the tools that they need to make sure we enforce the law. And that brings us to the big, beautiful bill. We have to get that passed. Congress has to pass that because there's more than 10,000 ICE enforcement officers who could be hired and funded using that bill. We saw just through these riots this weekend and this last week, we need more of those ICE officers. They're already being overwhelmed. They have a 400% increase in assaults against them, and we have to give them the support that they deserve.
I'm understood on that. And, just one more time on this. He said, we're going to have an order on that pretty soon with regard to farmers and hotel workers. Have you any indication that there is a new directive that will be coming on those different areas that he outlined?
If the president has an announcement, I'm sure he will make it himself. But for now, Martha, we're laser focused on getting the worst of the worst out of this country. We will not be deterred by these violent rioters that we saw this weekend, we saw until last weekend. And we're not going to cave to Gavin Newsom or Karen Bass. Martha.
I understood. Let's put up, in terms of numbers and the projections, because we know that the White House would like to see higher numbers. And so in FY24, under the final year of the Biden administration, there were 113,000 arrests. In 23, there were 170,000 plus arrests. How many arrests do you expect to see in 2025 if there is this obvious drive to get those numbers even higher? What should Americans expect?
Our arrest numbers right now are about 250,000 at this point. So I think around 1 million arrests they can anticipate. And Martha, you're also keeping in mind the fact that for the last 4 years, our ICE enforcement officers have been hamstrung. They've been demonized, they've been vilified, and they've been told to not do their job. So we've really had to rejig ICE and get our numbers up to snuff, and also make sure that they're safe while doing it. As I said before, a 400% increase in assaults against them, and a lot of that is because of the rhetoric we're seeing from politicians.
What do you say to people who will inevitably say, well, the crackdown on the sanctuary cities is political? It's blue. Now the focus is on blue states, blue cities versus places that are red.
It's not political. These politicians need to comply with the law. The Department of Homeland Security is here to enforce the law. If these politicians don't like it, then they can go to Congress and trying to change the law. But you can't pick and choose which laws to enforce in this country. And we were given a mandate by the American people on November 5th, 2024, Martha, and we are delivering.
All right, Tricia McLaughlin, thank you very much.
You.
Good to have you here today.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.